Hello, everyone. I hope you have followed what Priya was saying. And now we will get down with the next thing, which we have scheduled for today. And you probably can see my screen. We are going to talk about Overleaf, which is an online tech editor. So the purpose of doing all this is when you are doing science, when you're doing research, it is very essential to report it to. You have to create reports, you have to publish them as an article, or you will have to make a thesis at the end of it. So your process of research is not just the inquiry, but also reporting. Reporting is a very integral part of what research is. It's not that I sit in my room and I brood, think, ponder, solve equations and get results, but it is essential. It's very essential that we even, give it out to the community in terms of publication or a thesis or a report or so. Okay, so some of you probably are aware of this, but for those who aren't, we'll have a look at what this Overleaf is. So before we come to that, you must have heard of Latex, right? So earlier it was, earlier parts which was called Tech, and that stood for Tau, Epsilon, and Chi. It was a formatting system where you could create equations. The idea was to create beautiful and good documents for mathematics and physics, scientific documents. So LaTeX is a typesetting program useful for mathematical and scientific writings or publications. And how do we get LaTeX? We can Google search for LaTeX. We'll have a look at that. And either you can install it on your system, or you needn't install it, but you rather run this LaTeX through another environment, an online environment, which is called the Overleaf. So we'll look at both of that. And what is Overleaf? Overleaf is a collaborative cloud-based LaTeX editor used for writing, editing, and publishing scientific documents in LaTeX. And it partners with a wide range of scientific publishers to provide official journal LaTeX templates, and it also permits you to directly submit your papers. And as we proceed ahead after this very short PowerPoint presentation, we'll get down and actually do it and see it. So in this Overleaf, you can edit your LaTeX files from any device that connects to the net. It can be done from a laptop, it can be done from your mobile phone, and whatever device you have, or a tablet. So that's the beauty of it. And you don't have to install LaTeX on your device. Only requirement you have is you need internet connection, some kind of a data plan or Wi-Fi, and you hook onto the net and you work online on your documents. And this creates very beautiful documents, and many templates are available. We'll have a look at it, how to get these templates. There are templates to create your CVs, there are templates to write your theses, there are templates for your lab reports, there are templates for PowerPoint presentations and so on. So there are a lot of beautiful templates which are available to suit your requirement, and then you can tweak these templates to suit your interests and your likes. And another great aspect of this Overleaf is you can share and work on the same file with your co-authors. And these co-authors can be accessing that file at the same time. For example, you may be collaborating over a paper with 2 or 3 or 5 people, and you can share it with them, and all of you can either individually at different times log in and make changes to it, or you can decide to log in at the same time and you work on the thing, and you can see the changes what others are making and the changes you make, and you can get these documents. So this is what we very often do with our research scholars, where we share the papers which we are working on or their thesis. So parallelly at different times they sit and work on it, and there are different times when it's convenient for me, we log in and we see what changes have been made. And there is this direct submission of these papers. We'll have a look at it. There are many standard journals which provide you Overleaf templates, and you can start working on that. And once the whole paper is done and you think it is ready, you can submit it directly from your Overleaf environment. Yes, so we'll be seeing this in a moment. So using LaTeX, how do we start using Overleaf? To start Overleaf, we'll have to go to this site, www.overleaf.com, or you can just Google search for Overleaf and you will reach that point. And then it opens up a page of this kind, which you see on the right-hand top corner. And you have to either register, or you can, if you've already registered, you can log in and start using it. Okay, so in a moment we'll see how you can do it. And registering is extremely simple. It is one thing, it is free, and you can register using your email address and get started right away. You have to just put your email address and you select a password of your choice. You shouldn't give the password of your email address. You can choose any other address. So when they ask you to choose for a password, it is prompting you to decide for a password for Overleaf. So you needn't expose or give your password of your email address. And then you log in and you start working. So if I click on this Overleaf, I will share the screen. Yeah. So here it is. So when I went to www.overleaf.com. Yeah, we could have done this even from Google search. You go to Google and you write Overleaf, and it gives you this option, and there you are. Okay. So here, either if you have not created a username and ID, then you can register by clicking this register button, right? And it asks you to register using your email address. So for example, I will give my email address, this thing, and I give my password. In this case, here it is, and right, so I'll have to register. So if I try to register, it will say this already exists. This email is already registered, right? So if you have registered, then you can directly go in and log in. And you log in with your email. And here, this is the interface. Okay. So I'll come back to this again. And what you are seeing here are a list of articles and documents which we are we are working together with our students or with the collaborators and so on. For example, if I click this one, and you can notice the owner is Nagamani, research scholar, and last modified is 5 hours ago by Priya Hasan. And the actions you can, so if I click this one, I go in and you have 3 panels. On the leftmost, you see what are the different files which are there. The images, the text files, figures, all are here. In the middle one is the code in which you write your text. And on the right side, you will get to see the compiled version. So Overleaf always creates a PDF version. So as you make changes here, you keep getting the thing here. Okay. So if I make any change here and I type it, it will make a change. Okay. And coming out of it, I go out, and here's another one where there is a thesis, a PhD thesis of a research scholar. And again, you have the code here. You have, it's compiling and will create the PDF version here. And if there are errors, it shows you what errors there are. So there are these, this is the thesis, and we have the whole document. And you will just, you take a look, it creates the list of figures, list of tables, right, with page numbers, and list of tables which are there. And it creates very list of abbreviations used. So everything which you require, these are all there. And you will notice that the equations which come out are extremely beautiful. It's very easy to create these equations here, and you can create very beautiful documents in that. Okay. So coming back to how do we start? So starting is you have to register at Overleaf and you log in. So once you log in, you can start a new project. You see on the left hand side, there is a new project, and it gives you blank project, example project, upload a project, import from GitHub, academic journal, book, formal letter. These are all these different things, resume, CV, thesis. So you can take any of this. So to start off, suppose I take the blank project and I'll have to give some name, and I give, say, test. I give a name and I call it test, and it has created one, right? So the essential things which you need to write in your LaTeX document, they are already written down here. So those who are familiar with LaTeX, they would know that you have to start off with /document class, and you have to specify what you want. So here the one which you have by default is for an article, and it gives you some basic packages. So you have /user package UTF-8, and you have title which says test. I can change this to whatever tutorial 1 I can call it, and the author's name I can call it Hasan, and I can give the date as whatever date. Yeah, it is given August 2021. I can call it 24th August 2024. And then you have begin document, make title, and you have the sections. So once I start typing here, this is our first Overleaf document and whatever I write. And then you have this end documents. So when I compile here, I hope you can see it. It has created this introduction. This is our first Overleaf document. And then in this, you can create sections. When I say, the section name was introduction, that's why the title it gave was introduction here. I could have given some other name, introduction, and I write here important formulae, right? And then I compile it, and you'll see that it has created another this thing section, and or if you can also create subsections. You can say subsection, and here I say basic equations, and I recompile. So it creates sections, subsections, subsections, and so on, and you will see how it keeps creating, formatting it, so that you can even set how they should be, in which format you require and how. Apart from that, there are many other easy features in Overleaf. For example, I want to make this first as bold. So I can mark it and I say Control B. So if I do that, then you see, notice it has written /text boldface. And when I compile it, you will notice that that first has become bold-faced here, right? So there are many such things which you will learn as you proceed. For example, I need this Overleaf document and I want it to be italicized. So I say Control I. And though we did not know the command that you have to say /text it for creating it into italics, right? So text IT is to italize it, keep it in italize. Similarly, text boldface. And whatever comes in these two parentheses, that gets boldfaced. Like in this case, between these two flower brackets, you have Overleaf document. And when you compile it, you will see that first is boldfaced and Overleaf document is italicized, right? So there are a host of things which you can do it. And the beauty here is you can create equations very well. Yeah. Trying to write equations in Word is a very traumatic experience. Even if you take all your effort in creating, writing equations which look probably fine on your system, when you port it to some other, or very often when you try to make a PDF out of it, it very often creates a havoc. Right, so the power of Latex. So basically, what we are doing is Latex here, but we are using the Overleaf environment, and by using Overleaf environment, what we are gaining from it is, one, that you don't have to install Latex in your system. Two, you can go. This thing will be available to you wherever you go, as long as internet is available. Three, you can share it with different people, and different people can work with it at the same time. And fourth, there are many good journals which permit you, which allow you, they have a partnership with Overleaf, and they allow you to submit it right through this environment, which I'll show you. Okay. Now coming to writing equations or inserting figures, there's a total control here on what size of a figure you want, what where do you want the figure to be put, whether you want it to be of a certain size, right? So there's a lot of flexibility. And first thing I would try to show you is how to write equations in it. So for that, you have to use package, and see, as I'm typing, you can see there's a drop down options which are appearing here. And either if you know what it is, you can type it out, or if you don't, then you roughly know that there's something maths package which is required, right? So this use package, there's one maths tools and one is this AMS math. Okay, so you will have to use this AMS math, and then I can start typing my equations here. So when you have to write an equation, so suppose I write the Fermat's last theorem states, and I want to write an equation inline, then I put between $2, I have $. In this, I write whatever equations, x to the power of 3. So if I put this cap, this is a standard thing now in many editors. The cap indicates to the power of, and underscore gives you the subscript. So x to the power of 3 plus y to the power of 3 equal z to the power of 3. And this is between two dollars. Has no integer solutions. Okay, and then compiling also, either you can set it as you like. You can have an auto compile here, on or off, right? So by default it went on off, but if you keep it on, then constantly it will keep recompiling it as you keep doing it, right? So here you see the equation which has come, right? And so when you have to write an equation inline, then that is within a line, then I put them between between single dollars, start with a single dollar and with another dollar. If I use $, and I write, say I say alpha, for example. See, now it is an auto compile. So before I am doing it, it is getting restless and giving me errors. So let me put it on auto compile. I'll put it off. And when I say so slash alpha. So when I say backslash alpha, it gives me an alpha to the power of 3 plus slash beta to the power of 3 is equals to gamma. So this time, if I write capital gamma with capital G to the power of 3 and $. So when I start with $2 and end with $2 and I compile it, you will see that the equation gets centered. The equation gets centered. But notice that there is no equation number which is appearing here. But right, so the difference between putting a single dollar at the beginning and a single dollar at the end of it keeps the equation in line. But when you put $2 before and $2 later after, then it becomes, it gets centered in the line. It takes up a new line. And even if I had written this equation in the above line, suppose even if I had written it in one line, $, would put it into a separate line. Okay. Another thing you can do is you say begin equation, right? So the moment I start typing begins, see it's giving begin abstract, align star, array, center, right? So there's one begin equation. So the moment I click that, it created begin equation and end equation. And I say x to xi to the power of 5 plus y j to the power of 5 equal to z k to the power of 5. And I compile it. And this time you will notice that it also generates a equation number. And by putting these underscores, I've shown you that your x underscore I comes as x suffix I, and the quindle on top becomes to the power of, right? So if we want to the power of many things in it, suppose I want this whole thing to come as that. Right, so if you put a quindle and in this you write whatever you write, that becomes the exponent of that. Yeah. So if I put 666 and do it, it's xi to the power of 666. Had I not put this parenthesis and compiled, you will see it comes as x to the power of 6, and the other 3 sixes become the coefficient for that term. Okay, so similarly, in Overleaf, if you want to insert an image or so, we don't know how to insert it, and I say /begin, and I say I start typing figure. The moment I did F, there are two things, figure or frame. And when I say click the figure, it said /begin figure /centering include graphics, and it is giving you a prompt to give you the name of the file which has to be included, and you have to give a caption. So suppose I say logo here, and the label, you specify a certain label and you say end figure. So now what I can do is I can upload some kind of a figure here. There are no figures which I need to do. So I upload it from my computer. I'll go and in pictures, I have some. Okay, so this is my thing. So I drag it and I drop it here, and you will see that logofin.png, it has come here. So when I write include graphics and I write the name of that file, logofin.png, and compile it, that figure should appear here. Okay. It's not showing up well. And then you can control the size of and so on. Okay. So yeah. So before I proceed ahead, let me go back to this paper which I was talking about. And you see the buttons on top, which says share, submit, and history. So when I click submit, once the paper is ready by what we have, what we thought was had to be done has been done, you can directly submit to MNRAs from here. Okay. And the reason why I came back to this particular paper was, you will notice that the references are appearing exactly as it is required for this journal, this monthly notices of Royal Academy of Sciences, and where it says the morphology of galaxies are result of galaxy formation, evolution, and interaction, and Sandage et al. Butta, right? So how, and if you go to the end of the paper, it has created the bibliography, the references exactly as this journal expects it to be. And in this journal, you have the system is the name is arranged alphabetically, and within that it is done chronologically. So the name Andrion S 1996 ANA, right? So there's one very specific way of doing it. So yeah. So okay. So come patching up with what Priya showed you in ADS. You see that there is a ref file, bib file, bib. Where the hell are take images? Yeah, yeah.
Where is the my?
So there is this myref.bib file, and this is something which you should create it and keep dumping all the references which you read in this. So you notice that when we were in say ADS astronomy, and we had searched for some article, say of Bini, and I suppose this is the article I was concerned about, probabilistic distribution function, Bini James. And Priya had shown you how you can see the references in it, this, that, and you go to this export citation. You can get this from the different sites, but this is one place where we can get it. And you will see that you can select the export format. You have the Bibtex format, ADS format, Bibtex, ABS, whichever. So whatever the journal uses, you use that. And when you change this to the ADS, then it will look slightly different. The same for the same publication, ADS looks different, and for Bibtex it looks different. So in MNRS we are using the Bibtex format. So what I do is copy to clipboard, and I go back to this overleaf to my this ref bib file, and I paste it here. It doesn't matter where do you paste it, right in the beginning of it or at the end of it. You can just paste the whole thing. And when you are referring to that article, you just pick up this field, 2021 MNRAS, right? Control C, I copy it. And when I go back to my tech file, when I go to my tech file and I want to cite that article, I say \cite, and it is already giving an option of this thing. And in between these flower brackets, I paste that link which I just got it from my Bibtex. And when I compile it, this citation will appear exactly at that point, and then it will appear in the reference section too. So I will not do it here because this is an irrelevant, just a random one which I have taken. But this is how you get. And then in the Bibtex file, if there are certain references which have not been used, they can lie there. As for us, you can use the same that reference file for different articles, and you may or may not refer to all the articles which are listed there. Okay, so it's a good habit to create this kind of a file and keep putting into that the references of these the papers which you have been reading and doing it, right? So the name could be myref.babe or whatever. Only that when you call it, you have to specify what it is. Okay. Now we'll go to one more important thing. I'll go to this Google and I say for example, I want the Latex template for MNRAS, right? So when I say MNRAS Overleaf, let me first check whether there's an Overleaf template available or not. And here it is, monthly notice of Royal Academy of Sciences, Latex template and guide for authors. So if I click that, you go to the MNRAS one, and it says Openness Template, view source or download PDF. So when you click on Openness Template, it is opening as a template in this Overleaf. And this is a template file which you start off with. And this will create your document, what you are going to submit exactly in the form which it has to be submitted, right? So the style sheets, everything are given there. MNRAS requires 2 column ones, and it requires references to come in a certain way. It requires acknowledgements to come in a certain way, data availability. So everything is given, and in this template file, there's a sample which gives you how an equation has to be created. There is a sample for a table. There's a sample for inserting a graph, right? And see, it has a sample PS file, sample PNG, example PNG file. This example PNG file is this file of this graph, sine curve, which is shown here. And what you need to do is you have to start changing it to what you want to write. So for example, all these percentage ones are commented ones, nothing to worry about. And you have to start changing from the point where you have to, for example, your short title. For example, what should be your short title? And I can write in this, my short title is my test template, right? And it goes here. Okay. Then author's names, KT Smith, right? That is coming as KT Smith. So you change it to whatever you like. You write it to Hasan, right? Whatever. And then you change this name and you change your email address from mnras.org to whatever you have, the second author and the third author and everything. And you keep changing the abstract. This is a simple template. So this is what the abstract says. So if you from begin abstract to end abstract, you write whatever you want to write. Right? So you compile and that's what it comes. So similarly, you have keywords. So abstract is blah, 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 and introduction and section 1, section 2, and so on, right? And then you can share this. You click this share button and I specify the email of my collaborator, right? So for example, I write priya.hasan@gmail.com and I say share. The moment I say share, she receives an email and once she accepts it, then she can also log in. So, and here when we are sending it, you can give options, can edit or cannot revoke invitation, right? So the options are here. I say can read only or can edit. Okay. And so at the moment it is showing in invite not accepted. So resend. Okay, I've just sent it. So Priya has to log in and see it. Then once she logs in and sees, I will see if she appears online while I'm working. Her icon appears there, which shows that she's working and where is she working. And then finally, you can see the history of the changes which you have made and etc. and submitted. And you can start a chat also in this. So in the chat, you can write what changes you have done. You can leave a note for your people. What have you been up to and what are you doing and so on. Okay, so this was the one which I created, but you can dump it if you wish. Yeah, I've got rid of it. And similarly, the way we searched for MNRS template, I can search for Overleaf templates in general, and you'll see that there are resume for CVs, academic journals, templates, theses, and so on. So if I click this, it gives you a host of different journals, academic journals, bibliography, books, resume, CV, formal letters, assignments, presentations. So you can click on this presentations and you can see there are various different presentations which are available, right? And whichever appeals to you, you can click it and open as a template, and you will see that it helps you create very good templates for you. So and author is, suppose it is Hasan's, and make frame, make title, begin section, and when you compile it, right? So it has created, it's creating a presentations, slides. So there was this title, subtitle I did not give, name I gave, and then outline for the section 1, and this is it, right? So this is a template where you can just change it according to your requirement, and you can create all these equations and tables and graphs and images and various such things and bibliography. And then you can download the PDF You can download the PDF if you wish. Same could be done for the papers, and I'm downloading it on the desktop, and I'll have a PDF template my presentation. Okay, so right, yeah. So here it is, and you can see a lot of templates are available for all kinds of things for Overleaf. If not for Overleaf, what do we need to do? If you want to install, which is a good idea, you should have LaTeX running on your system. So what you can say, installing. Okay, let me stop here and see if there are any. There are some questions. Yeah, what is the difference between Site and SiteP? So the SiteP, the citation comes in parentheses, right? For example, I'll show you here. Cite is when you have a, see, for example, you have a SiteP here, and I have more than one citation. So internal perturbations and dark matter interaction, SiteP, and I have 1995, this one. And so when you do SiteP, you see it comes in parentheses, and you can put many such, and they are separated by these semicolons. And when you just do Cite, then it comes as, for example, Cite this one, then it comes without the parentheses. It comes as Hubble, Namerson, Passano, right? So SiteP comes in parentheses. It has been studied by this, right? So SiteP and Cite. What is the difference between LaTeX and Overleaf, right? So the difference is Overleaf is an online editor for LaTeX. LaTeX is the basic package which is used for creating documents, scientific documents, and so LaTeX has to be downloaded and installed, and then you can work. I'll give you an example now how to download on your system and use it. But Overleaf is it's an environment, online environment, where you create LaTeX documents. It's an online environment for LaTeX, where you can get a host of templates available from. So they have a tie-up with many journals, and Overleaf allows you to open these templates in an environment. And when you are using it in Overleaf, like I said, you don't have to install. You don't need LaTeX to be running on your system. In fact, I can be using my phone. Yeah, you can run it from a phone also. You can. Only thing is, it becomes very cumbersome to edit things on a phone. But if you are sitting in a bus or in some function where you are getting bored, you don't need a computer. If you have a net and you have your phone, right? So you can't be downloading the whole of Mictech or whatever on your phone. You won't have sufficient space on your phone to create these documents. So this is an online editor. It's an online editor where you can compile, run, and create these documents. I know it's easy to make CV using Overleaf LaTeX, but is it okay if we still use MS Word or Google Doc to make one some design Overleaf CV somehow? Yeah, obviously, see, it's a matter of your choice. There's no, this is just another option. So if you feel that you can create better CVs in your Word or or your Apple or your whichever open office, you are free to do that. But this is just an option, right? And it's a good collaborative tool. It's something like what we saw yesterday in GitHub. You are writing your code, compiling it, you are sharing it, and there are many others who are also using that, and you can share it, give others a freedom to change on it, and you are doing it over the cloud, right? So Overleaf is something similar where you can collaborate with people online and you work on the same document at the same time and so on. So yes, you can do it. It's your choice. Yeah. Fine. Okay, so now coming to LaTeX, proper LaTeX. You all are familiar with this. You say install LaTeX and you specify and how to install LaTeX on Ubuntu, get LaTeX. Yeah, the various sites. And when you say get LaTeX, it opens up the LaTeX page, and its page. LaTeX is a free software under the term of LaTeX project, right? So see, the beauty of all these open source things are, these are absolutely free. A world which is going extremely commercial, the academic circles are becoming more and more open to share their code, they're sharing their resources, to share their, like Python notebooks, people share the whole thing. Like he did that, he gave his whole um, uh, Python notebook. He must have taken too much effort to create those code to analyze data, but he's sharing it with all, saying that fine, you are free to use. So similarly, this LaTeX is a free software, and if you scroll around, you will see that there are different distributions for Linux, Mac, Windows, and online. Yeah, in online there are Papiria, Overleaf, Share LaTeX, right? There are various things. We discussed the Overleaf one. I have not seen this Papiria and all. There may be something very similar. But the reason why I showed Overleaf is a lot of good journals, many good astronomy journals are already providing Overleaf templates which you can directly use. So if you are using, say, Mac OS, then you go to Mictech distribution and you can download it and do it, right? Or if you are in Windows, you go into Mictech or ProTech or Tech Live. Mictech is a standard, almost pretty good one. It has many packages which come with it. And then you download it and it gives you you are downloading this basic Mictech 2.1. This is a 64. You have to know what system your operating system is, with a 64-bit or 32-bit, and you download it, and it downloads the executable file, and when you double click it, it will install it. Okay. So I will not do it because this is already installed on my system. Second thing which is advisable to do is you can use one of the environments. There's one which we keep using is this Techmaker. There's Tech Studio, Techmaker, links. There's various environments in which you can edit LaTeX files and compile them and see the. So Techmaker is again a free cross-platform this thing. It runs on Windows, Mac, Linux, everything. And similarly, you download whichever version, Windows package, Mac or Linux one. Linux one, depending on whether you are using Red Hat or Ubuntu or what, you can even directly install sudo apt-get install, so on. And once it is done, you will notice that you will notice that I have this Techmaker here, okay, and icon gets created on your desktop if you give the permission for Windows, and here's your Techmaker, and again it's something similar. You have the tech file here, the source code, and you can use a wizard for a quick start, and you can choose whether it's an article or a report or a letter or which one. Suppose I say a book, okay, and I say landscape mode or which mode, whether I want it one-sided or two-sided, right? What side of book I want. Suppose I want two-sided. So it will create for the alt pages a bigger margin on the left, and even pages bigger margin. Then you check, put the paper size A4, A5, A6, whatever. And what is your basic package, English or Farsi, Czech. Okay, and here it is. And I say, hello, my first document. And see, I have an option here, PDF LaTeX, Bibtex, PS to PDF, various one. So I'll take this PDF LaTeX and I will run that thing. So it says the document must be saved with an extension. And so what you have to do is you have to save this document, and I have an icon here which says save, and I'm saving it somewhere here. Say I call it test.tech. Extension has to be tech. The file name has to be tech. And now when I compile it, it is compiling. And if there were some errors here, it would have shown some errors here. It compiled without anything. And when I click this view thing, it is showing whatever I have written. Right? And see, when I chose that, it said document class, 12 points, A4 paper, two-sided book, right? So we did not know that we had to put these commands, and these have to be specifically in the way it is given. Where there are square brackets, you have to put square brackets. When you have to put curly brackets, this flower brackets, you have to put flower brackets, and so on. So here you have use package UTF-8, use package AMS Maths. This is for mathematics. AMS fonts are for the fonts. AMS symbols are for the various new set of symbols, series of symbols which you can have, and you can do it. So, and if you make some mistakes here, suppose I don't have my end document, suppose, and I compile it, it will give an error here. It is showing line 1 error, emergency stop, job aborted, no legal. So if there are errors, it won't do. If they aren't, then so end document had to be there. Okay, and then you have a host of things here. For example, I hope you can see my screen. There are these buttons here. So if I click this, it gives me all these. There was a symbol which showed lambda. So when I say I click this one, /mu came written, right? And when I compile it, it will create the mu one, but this has to go into the dollar, between $2, dollar, and when I compile, and see, I've got this mu, right? So there are these symbols phi and sigma and chi and so on. Not just these, you have brackets here. So this will show you different brackets which you want. Bracket which is with two lines, brackets which looks like an L floor, right floor, ceiling floor. Then you have ABC with an over right arrow with a gap here, right? So wide hat. Okay, so compile and run it. And it has created this top arrow. Similarly, you will notice that there are many such icons here, which will tell you use package, blog, create a circle, connect section, coordinate, right? So there are many such. You have these things which says underscore x to the power of. I'll expand it and show you. Okay, it's not root of it, square root, right? So once you have to do that, but all this has to obviously go within begin, end, and begin, end, and begin document and end document. Okay. So we have. Okay, so sorry, this document came away from there. Control V and yeah, and you can compile. So the MNRS template and other things which we use in Overleaf, you can also download it on your system. It's not necessary that you work only online. If you want, you can download it and open it through this Techmaker or Tech Studio or whichever thing you require, and you can run it. So if you instead use Tech Studio, I wonder whether I have it here. Interface looks Tech Studio. Yeah. So Tech Studio can be downloaded and you can do it. So let's take any questions. Are there any questions or doubts or so? You can unmute yourself, and if there are any doubts, you can ask them. How many of you use Latex? Listen to you.
Yeah,
Referee.
so we'll just take some of the questions. So Karthik asked, Mohammed Asif asked about the recording. Yes, all our videos are being recorded. All of them are available on YouTube in the playlist for AstroSprint Discovery. So it's all there. Karthik asked, what does it mean refereed and non-refereed? So when people give scientific results, when you do some work and you give scientific results, the normal way of doing is that you submit it to a journal, and the journal sends it to an expert who is called a referee. And the referee actually checks the article, whether the referee thinks the referee is somebody from your area. So he or she judges whether it is worth publishing, whether the results are correct and things, it's in a proper format, etc. And so most articles are preferred to be refereed, because by refereed, it means that it has been checked by somebody, it has been validated. But there are certain journals which actually publish non-refereed, in the sense there is no refereeing process for it. But obviously, they are not given that much of value as a refereed publication. So ideally, a refereed publication is considered a better publication than a non-refereed one, for the simple reason that somebody has kept a check on it, right? ResearchGate. I don't know who that is, but he's asking what is about ResearchGate. Okay, so ResearchGate also is like there's Google Scholar. You can have a Google Scholar account where you can actually put a repository of all your articles in that. So for example, you can Google Hasan Priya, Hasan Google Scholar, or whatever name, and it will give you the Google Scholar page where all the articles published by somebody are all listed over there, right? And therefore, you may have Google Scholar like that. Similarly, ResearchGate also lets you have a repository of your articles. Along with that, ResearchGate also keeps track of who are the people who read your articles, or is an article of yours, has it been recently cited by somebody? So you could even get an email on some day saying that, oh, some article you wrote has been today has been referred to by some other author for some purpose. And therefore, it kind of keeps track of your publications, the kind of responses you're getting for it, the citations, etc. So even Google Scholar does that. It calculates your H-index, your citations. So these are repositories of published publications for a particular author. So you can search for it like that. So if you're even looking for somebody, working with somebody, probably you can check up their profiles through ResearchGate or through Google Scholar to actually see what have they published. There's another question. Can we use Cite using citation at ArchiveX, not from the real publisher? Yes, you can cite it, but obviously, generally, the citation is always given preferably for the published journal article, because that is where the main publication is. So you generally give the citation for the article and not for the archives thing. But for example, if there is a case, like I said, maybe the journal has subscriptions, or it's not easily available. Sometimes there could be a reason why a journal is not very easily available. Then you can also give the archive link, so that both of them are fine in principle. Yeah. I think this is Overleaf. Yeah.
So I think all the questions have been addressed to. And what one has to also realize, which we are living in a time where everything is available on the net. So in case you get into trouble, you are writing an equation and you don't know how to write, say, integral in Latex or in some other, right? So you can always Google search and write integration symbol in Latex, and you'll surely get how to do it here, integral symbol. Okay, so there are people where it shows that you have to say /int _a over b x to the power of 2 /dx. So once you do that, it will appear as a to b x squared dx, right? So whatever you have a problem with, you can search. Yeah, you can say go for all math symbols in Latex. So the community help is is very good here. And there's so many sites, you can choose any which you feel like. And you see it and it shows, see, you can create a hat, a grab, a dash, a bar, a reverse hat, tilde, alpha, beta, gamma. And these are all, once you know slash alpha is alpha, slash beta is beta, then you can start guessing slash rho is rho and slash chi is chi and so on. And similarly, uppercase letters will be the same thing with capital, right? And then equality less than or equal to slash LQ slash LE less than slash LL, less than. So everything belongs to, not belongs to, join, bow tie, proportion, everything which you require in math physics documents, they are there. Like you have this direct sum, O plus O dot. Like for sun, we use this O dot. Then tensor product, O times, right? So if you don't know, obviously we can't know each and everything, but you can always find help and do it. And very soon you get, one thing is in the Techmaker and many of these things, there are these buttons which you press and this appears. Big cup and big V and big O plus and all these things are there. A left arrow, right arrow, hook arrow. There are many things of doing it. So this, there exists and mu and infinity and all the math symbols which you need. See in this one document, we have everything there. So the help community on the net for Tech, Latex, for all these are available on net. And see Latex math symbols, cheat sheets. Yeah, so you can create very good documents. If you are trying to do that in Windows, in Word, very often it's very frustrating. Some simple things, simple ones will go fine, but otherwise it creates problems. Okay. Then there are some more tools, like there's one MathPick tool. I think it's called MathPick tool, which MathPick snip. If you install that on your system, then from PDF documents, you can copy it. And when you copy it, it creates the LaTeX code in it. You can just paste it in your LaTeX document and you'll have it. Let me see whether I have MathPick. MathPick snipping. Yeah, I think I've installed it. And okay, so if I have any document, let me see if I have a document which has equations. Yes. Okay, so you have these equations, and I want to pick up these. I want to pick up these expressions, so that MathPick I can take it and copy it with MathPick, and it creates a tool. Where's the MathPick thing on? Okay, so you try it, you install it and see, and the moment you do that, it creates a the tech, the LaTeX version of it, the LaTeX code. See, for example, you copy it like this, and I H bar this, and you go and paste it there and compile, and it is done. Okay, so Mictech tool, right? Other than that, since there's this time, I can also show you there's something called Latex draw. Latex draw and Latex draw. Okay, this is also a pretty neat thing if you install it. Yeah, it's just an executable, and here you can draw, say, circles and ellipses and this and that, and directly it creates a so you can choose the color, and you can so in this new drawing, and you can draw these things. Scale this, that, and you can somehow this upper portion is not showing up here. I'll have to stop share for a minute. And yeah. Yes. So you can draw these squares, you can draw filled circles, unfilled circles, and you can create the code, and you can copy it and paste it and run it, right? So you probably have to install this you have to do this use package, psticks, and all that code is there. You can copy this and you can paste it into a LaTeX file and compile it, and it will come. So LaTeX draw is also a pretty neat way of doing various things. Okay. So Mictech tool you can try, LaTeX draw, Overleaf, and many other things. As you start working, they'll become more and more easy. Okay. So if there are no more questions, you have what you say?
Yeah, reminder.
So let's wind up for today then.
Yeah. And keep the conversations on Telegram. There's lots of activity happening there. And we'll keep in touch. So see you tomorrow evening. Tomorrow, now the next 2 days would be Sushan Konar and her students. So you will have sessions by her students as well as Sushan. So see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the evening. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.